Hello, it is Friday, October 16th, 2020, and I am here joined today by a Kansas City Chiefs loyalist, Kansas basketball fan, KC Royals fan, a man who is back-to-back fantasy football champion in our league we've been in for a few years, including last year besting me in the championship game. We won't talk about that. An ex-weapons troop who's pursuing a degree in sports administration, his second time of the show, so welcome back. And as of last month, a newly engaged man, ladies and gentlemen, Caleb Staton. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thrilled to be on again. Had a blast last time. Couldn't resist again. So
How could you not? I mean, you did a great job filling in last time, so we're happy to have you back anytime you want, and excited to talk to you a little bit. How's it going over there in Tennessee?
it's going, man. It's going. Love the change in weather. It's finally not hot as balls, so we're getting there.
That's right. He lived in Arizona for about what, 6 years, 5 years?
Yep, 6 years.
It's a long time. I'm almost there too. I'm at 5 right now, so.
Back to real seasons over here, so it's kind of nice.
Yeah, I guess I don't miss the cold at all. So, all right. Well, first off, you guys listening, make sure you subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Check us out on Spotify, where we have our podcast. We have Facebook page, Instagram page, where we put stuff out there, put some content out. But thanks for listening, and let's get this thing rolling. So the biggest news so far would probably be the Le'Veon Bell news. Yesterday, well, 2 days ago now, he was cut by the Jets. Obviously, that situation was never going to work out. We all knew that probably before. And, you know, just didn't – he got paid $28 million to play a minimal amount of games. He was hurt. He's just not wanting to play. Adam Gase was not a fan of him. They didn't like each other. So he's cut. And as of latest talks at this moment, he is down to two teams, the Bills – or not the Bills, sorry. At the beginning of the day, it was the Bills, the Dolphins, and the Chiefs. So now he is in the running for just the Dolphins and the Chiefs as of a couple hours ago. So, Caleb, what are your thoughts on this? What team do you think he fits best with? And try to take your biases out as a Chiefs fan, if you can. But if not, let it fly.
I'll try to. Gibby does such a good job, man. I don't know if I can do it as well as he does. But hey, death, taxes, and the dumpster fire that is the Jets. I absolutely love it. But man, I would absolutely love him on the Chiefs. I mean, I know we got CEH, and he's doing pretty well. You know, he's not exactly lived up to a first round grade or anything like first round draft pick, but man, the second, running back, third running back, fourth running back are just not cutting it. So having Le'Veon, oh my gosh, as our second option, that would be nasty. And I have him on my bench in fantasy, so sign me up. Like, let's go.
Yeah, you mentioned fantasy. Those who do own Clyde Edwards-Helaire, like myself, in two leagues, kind of screwed on this if he goes to the Chiefs. He was my number one overall pick at number 4. And I'm praying that he does not go to the Chiefs just for fantasy's sake, but I can definitely see how you would be a fan of that as defending Super Bowl champs who kept everyone, returned everyone, and get better.
You're writing checks to Miami trying to get him to go.
Right? Yeah. So do you think – obviously the Buffalo situation I don't think was ever going to work out just because that backfield's too crowded. You got Devin Singletary who can be – he's pretty good. He's proven himself enough to be a good running back, and they have a rookie, Zach Moss, who I think they really like. He's just been hurt for the last – I think he played 1 or 2 games. He's been hurt for a few weeks now, so that situation might not have worked out. He might not have got the touches, and guess what? It's about to get really damn cold in Buffalo. He's probably not feeling that. The Miami situation, though, is interesting to me. I know Miami might not seem like a attractive place to go play football right now, but that's a team who's changing the culture over there. And Brian Flores, B-Flow and the boys, Ryan Fitzpatrick, they just laid the hammer on San Francisco last weekend. Maybe a vulnerable-ish AFC East as opposed to other years this year. And our dude Le'Veon, he loves Miami. He was in the offseason in Miami partying every weekend, putting out rap albums. I don't think that it's totally out yet. Obviously, by the time this releases in about, 18 hours, hopefully, we're not just saying all this for nothing because he'll probably pick a team by then. But I can see him going to Miami. I think he'll fit in well. They had what's his name? Jordan Howard and who's the other dude? Matt Breida
Yeah.
signed, but they completely have taken a back seat to Gaskins over there. So he's been a steal on the waiver wire for everyone who owns them this year. But you know, I'm not. I don't think it's far fetched to say he could go to Miami.
Hey, who wouldn't? I mean, who wouldn't want to play in Miami? Like, and he gets to, and go into Miami. I know. I would have thought Buffalo would have been the number one choice because I know they got those two running backs, but like you said, they've both been a little banged up here and there. So having like a veteran presence could have been like a good situation for them. And he gets, but both Miami and the Bills, you still get to play the Jets twice a year. So
That's
I'm sure.
true. Yeah.
Did you know? Did you see the thing where it's like the next three games against the Jets are Miami, Buffalo, and the Chiefs?
Oh,
Those are
really?
the next three teams that the Jets plays, and
Maybe
those are
he
the
picked
three that
those
he
three
picked.
teams just so he
So
knew for sure he would go
yeah,
and beat the Jets.
yeah, it could have been like a public relations thing. I don't know, but I love it regardless. So I mean, I can totally see the Miami thing. Chris Jones was actually one of the guys that was working out with him in Miami. So I mean, he has a lot of connections to the Chiefs, but I mean, we'll see. The Miami's going to put a lot of money on the table, a lot more than the Chiefs are. So we'll see
Yeah,
what happens.
Gibby keeps sending me photos of Le'Veon Bell in a Chiefs uniform, and he's updating me that Patrick Mahomes and Le'Veon Bell followed each other on Twitter and all that. You Chiefs Kingdoms fanatics are just breaking my heart. I really hope it doesn't happen, but
That's a bad day for the Clyde owners, but
oh God, I mean he'll still get his volume. I think in a way he's not been great. He's been about a flex position, kind of give me 10 to 12 points a game, which is
yeah.
kind of disappointing honestly. But I'm hoping that doesn't get smaller. T's and P's out there to your Clyde Edwards Elaire owners in fantasy. All right, well, enough on him. Hopefully, he's found a new home soon, and we can watch him play football. Because when he does play, it's pretty good. I mean, he came back and he was actually averaging over 4.5 yards a carry um, in New York with a bad O line and just a bad franchise and a coach that hates him. So we'll see.
Get away from Gase. That's the motto to live by if you're an NFL player. Get away from Gase, and you can just blow up. So
Hey, yeah, we've seen it time and time again. Ryan Tannehill, Robbie Anderson, everyone, Devontae Parker. Hey,
Dave Parker, Kenyon Drake. Last year, he's not doing so well this year, but
yeah, called that. Anyway, all right, so let's talk a little bit college basketball since we don't get many people on here who are college basketball fans. I know it's NFL season right now, but we didn't get to talk about it last time you were on. Kansas was number one, obviously, last year before the whole coronavirus pandemic hit. They were looking good, clear, probably favorites to win it all. Although you never know in college basketball before the tournament what the hell is going to happen. Just your thoughts on KU going forward. They lose Azubuike, I mean, the dude used to scare me when I watched him watched him on TV playing basketball. He was an absolute beast. He's gone this year, right?
yep.
Yep. So, what are your thoughts on them going forward into the 2021 season?
Yeah, Azubuike and Devin Dotson both gone. So our starting point guard. Yeah, heartbreaking last year to not be able to have a tournament. Of course, I think we talked about that in the last podcast. But I mean, we'll see what happens, man. Like we're definitely gonna take a step back. We don't have the recruiting class that we've gotten used to now. Kansas didn't used to get a lot of the 5-star players anyway, but obviously Bill Self kind of changed that a little bit here and there. But and even the 5 stars that we have gotten haven't always worked out super well. But no, Azubuike's a monster, of course. I mean, I know one of the things you asked about was how his game translates to the NBA. I don't know if it does so well. You know, a lot of the bigs now are shooting threes. They can take you off the dribble. You know, I mean, and that's not really Azubuike's game. You could put the ball in his hands for more than 5 seconds, he's probably going to turn the ball over. He's either going to dunk it or turn the ball over. So, I mean, it's going to be a huge loss, of course, especially in college. You know, those guys just dominate in college. But I mean, we got a couple big guys behind him, McCormick, and then Silvio De Souza, who may or may not leave to sign with the WWE after that fight with K-State. He's already good at throwing those chairs at people. So,
Oh God.
but no, we got some experience behind him as long as De Souza can play for a full season and not get the NCAA coming down on him for improper benefits and stuff. But I mean, we're looking good. We got one red shirt last year, 4-star guy who's coming in that we'll see. We'll see how it works out. And then I say the name to watch for the Jayhawks is Christian Brown. He is nasty. He was a freshman last year. He was really coming into form, but I think this year he could be really, really one of our scoring leaders, especially since we're going to have Marcus Garrett probably move over to the point since we don't have a point guard anymore. So, but we'll see what happens. I think Baylor, if I had to pick it right now, I'd say Baylor over KU to win the Big 12 this year, but we'll see.
Really? Yeah. I mean, with the pandemic and everything, I bet a lot of people are just not giving two shits about college basketball at the moment because, I mean, they're just not.
We're just happy
But
also.
yeah, and it'll be interesting to see how they move forward too. Obviously with the college football, they're only playing mostly conference games, like 10, 8 game schedules for some conferences. So we'll see how that kind of trickles into the college basketball. They have something in a little bit in place right now. I haven't read too much about it, to be honest with you, but yeah, we'll pay attention to that. Christian Brown, right? You said
Christian Brown,
lottery pick,
yeah, right.
2021.
There you go. There you go.
Got it. Marking it down. You heard it here on the Nosebleeds First.
And we'll see, though. Also, we have those allegations against us. So who knows? Bill Self might be gone. Who knows?
Ooh,
Who knows?
hey, felt that a few years ago. So Rick Pitino, biggest piece of shit there is, but dude knew how to coach. I'll give him that. All right. Let's go back to football now. So when we had you on before, we were going to ask you what your division winners were in each division. But now that we're 6 weeks into or 5 weeks going into 5 weeks into the season, going into the sixth, I was wondering if you had your division winners for each one, and we can kind of talk about them each, according to what you've seen so far in each division. So what do you got?
For sure. Are you saying yours too?
I'll give you mine off the top of the noggin. But go ahead.
5 games in.
What's that?
5 games in, a re-update. All right.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, I mean, let's see. I need to bring that up so I can remember them for sure. But AFC West, like, I'm gonna go Chiefs. That's. I mean, I know like there are some good looking teams now in the AFC West. There are some up and coming quarterbacks. Man, Herbert. I honestly thought when he got drafted, I was like, dang, that's no way. Like, I just hoping the Chargers didn't take Tua, and I was so glad when they didn't. But Herbert looks good, dude. And
he does. He looks amazing. Did you watch the Monday Night Football game at all, or see any?
I got to see highlights. I work, so it's annoying. But
he looked great. He looked great.
Yeah, for sure. No, I mean, I've seen him. I saw him against the Chiefs. He looked good against us. So
yeah, I mean, the past 3 weeks he's faced Drew Brees, Tom Brady, and Patrick Mahomes, and he's held his own for the most part in all those games. So
won 3, but
you're right. Yeah, but it is the Chargers. Chargers find a way to just lose games every year. This is not new. It doesn't matter who's at quarterback, and you can't really blame him too much because, I mean, special teams just fucks them every year. But anyway, all right, AFC West, I have to agree with you. Chiefs are just going to come out on top there. Talked to a guy yesterday, and he's a Raiders fan. He kind of mentioned the Chiefs are just kind of sleepwalking right now through a few games, but they'll get it together. Face shield Andy and the boys are going to be ready to play come playoff time.
Give it a couple years. Some of these other teams are going to be good, but they're not there yet. So it'll be the Chiefs. Let's see, AFC North. That's a tough one, man. There's some good teams in the AFC North.
I think now that we mentioned it, I think it's probably the best division in football right now. I would say that. Kind of expected the NFC West to be that, and they are good over there. But that AFC North is tough. You got Pittsburgh undefeated right now. The Ravens probably still the favorite. Cleveland Browns 4-1, looking good. Bengals, Joe Burrow's a real good quarterback, but they're obviously not in that conversation yet. But let's see. If I had to pick, I think the Ravens come out on top at the end of the season. It'll be close with the Steelers, though. I think when we see the Steelers and the Ravens play themselves, it's gonna tell a lot. I'm interested to see it because both great defenses. Last year, Mason Rudolph just was not the answer. Obviously, old Duck Hodges, quack quack quack, was not the answer. Yeah, I'm gonna go Ravens for this one. What's that?
They still won like 8 or 9 games, didn't they?
Yeah. So
Ravens, that's a tough one. First of all, I love Gibby and Cheech going Browns just every time. I love it. But I'm gonna go Pittsburgh. That defense, and then now they got this 3-headed monster at wide receiver after Claypool kind of broke out last week. So, I mean, I got to go Pittsburgh. Lamar Jackson has not really looked like himself this year yet. And I think they'll figure it out. Like they'll get that running game going and be able to just maul people like they have in the past. But there might be a little bit of a window here for Pittsburgh, especially if Baltimore loses to them once, then you're talking 2-game lead. So I like the Steelers in that one just with the defense, that pass rush and the secondary both. I'll go with them.
I mean, that's fair. They were, I think, a wild card team for me at the beginning of the year. I still like them to be a wild card team, but I think they win more. I think I picked them to win 10 games, but I think they probably win 12 or so. I don't know.
It'll
But
be one of those situations where one of them's a wild card and the other one is like the 2 seed.
yeah, hey, maybe they get 3 teams in. There's an extra playoff spot. I don't think it'll happen because I think the Browns won't make it. But we'll pay close attention to that. The Browns have the uh, Steelers this Sunday, so that'll be a great game to learn about those teams each.
And you
So
just you just can't take the Browns after beating the Cowboys with all those little gadget plays that they did. I looked it up. I was like, dang, they put up so many points on the Cowboys. Baker had to have like a good game. He had like 17 fantasy points, and they put up like 48 points on him or something like that. I
yeah,
mean,
49 threw for under
you're
200 yards.
you're gonna go as far as your quarterback's gonna take you, and Baker is not gonna take them anywhere. So eventually, he's gonna have to make plays, and it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, I agree with you. We'll see. I don't know. He's looked pretty good the past couple games. Beat the Colts last week, which were
True.
statistically the number one defense in the NFL. I don't know, 4 weeks into the season if you can, count on that or rely on that as something that's going to reflect on the Browns. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. All right, so let's see EFC. AFC East. We'll go up there with New England, Buffalo, Miami, and the New York Dumpster Fire Jets. Who is your favorite in this division?
I'm going Pats. Cam Newton has just been a revelation out there. He's just rejuvenated, and no way Bill Belichick lets the Bills win that division. And after seeing them against Tennessee, it's like, man, are they legit or do they just have a bad game? I don't know. It's tough, but the Patriots look for real. Even with all the players that opted out on defense, I will never bet against Bill Belichick until Cam Newton dies or something, then I'll bet maybe against the Patriots. But he's going to figure it out, and they're not going to let the Bills win that division.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the Patriots take this division. And that's me saying this as of today. I had the Bills pretty much until after that game. And it's not, people have bad games, and Josh Allen had a tough game. I'm still all in on Josh Allen and the Bills, but that defense just has not been exactly what I thought it would be. With all those players. Granted, Tre'Davious White was out the other night, their lockdown corner. So that kind of hurt him. A.J. Brown went wild. But I like the Patriots. Once they get Cam back, we saw what they did with Brian Hoyer at quarterback against your Chiefs. He was like the reason. You could almost say Brian Hoyer was the reason they lost that game,
Yeah,
even though
they should have won. They should have won.
yeah. So I'll stand with you there. I like the Pats to win that division. So AFC South, the driest division in football, in my opinion. You almost have to roll with the Titans here just because it's so bad. Phillip Rivers and the Colts obviously started off 3-1, but after seeing them against the Browns and Phillip Rivers just gives games away, and he did that again. The Browns shouldn't have won that game last week. Phillip Rivers just made some terrible decisions, as he always does, especially in late in games. I don't know if that team, as good as that defense is and can be, can take them far at all. And the Titans look damn good. So
I was all in on the Colts this year, which kind of sucks because I wanted to see Phillip Rivers behind a good offensive line where he wasn't just going to be trounced all year, having to make these ridiculous throws to Michael, whatever the hell his name is.
oh, yeah,
yeah. But man, I was all in on the Colts, and their defense is obviously ridiculous. So they still have a chance to be a wild card team, but Titans, yeah, you got to go Titans. But I'm still not out on the Texans either. Get rid of old Billy Bryant, or Bill Bryan. You never know. So they're 1-4 now in pretty convincing fashion in that last game. So I wouldn't count them out to beat the Titans. They're playing the Titans this week. So if they beat the Titans, could be interesting.
Look out. All right. Well, that's fair. that Tennessee team, man, they just come out, hit you in the mouth, and then they just keep running the ball, wearing you down. Ryan Tannehill knows how to make the right play when he needs to, it seems. So,
They
uh,
and they have weapons at wide receiver now and tight end. So
exactly. Yep. All right, so let's go to the NFC. We'll start with the NFC East, the worst division in football. Just it's sad that they get a playoff spot. Really hate that. Um, who's your winner for this division? I think I'm going to roll with the Philadelphia Eagles, man.
and I'm going to say it with the same trepidation, the Eagles. Just the system. I believe in Doug Peterson. It's tough to believe in that quarterback at this point, but I got to go Eagles, especially without Dak. If Dak was still in, then maybe, but
I don't know,
Eagles.
man. Even with Dak, that defense is so atrocious that it's just.
It's bad.
But I mean, you see what the Eagles are doing without anyone. A guy who, let's see, what's his name? Who's the receiver? Fulgham or something?
Yeah.
Dude's going off. I just got him in one of my leagues. I just picked him up. If he's available in your fantasy leagues, look for him because we've all seen that those Philadelphia wide receivers just don't play football because they're either hurt or they're all hurt. So I picked him up. He put up like 30 fantasy points last week. He's been consistent. He's actually catching the ball, not dropping it like Aguilar. So um, maybe if he's on your waiver wire, pick him up. Anyway, all right, that's enough about them. Hey, by the way, how'd you feel about Alex Smith getting
Oh,
some PT, man? How'd that feel as a
you
Chiefs
know,
fan?
you gotta love that. You gotta after man that documentary with him showing his injury, gruesome. So seeing him back on the field, you gotta love it. And please, Aaron Donald, stop trying to piggyback ride him. Goodness,
Hey,
show the man some respect.
you play to win the game, okay?
he was hoping to take him out for another couple of years. Good grief, but
I know Rams got 8 sacks that game. Granted, I think a couple of those were on Kyle Allen, but Jesus,
put Haskins back in and let him take that beating. Goodness.
yeah. All right, so let's go to the NFC. Let's go NFC North. So right now the Packers are 4-0. No, yeah, 4-0. They just had a bye week. They're ahead. The Chicago Bears. You can talk about them if you want. I'm not a big believer in them. They are 3-1. It's just hard for me to get behind them right now. I know the defense is great. I've talked about it, but who's your winner for this division? It's probably the Packers, and why?
Yeah, this is also a tough one. I know Gibby's big on the Bears right now, and after they beat Tampa Bay
Yep.
last week, that was a good win, a
Yep.
good win. And so I mean, with Nick Foles, that was his second game back. So I mean, he's still integrating into the offense. So you got to give him like a little bit of a chance, especially with that defense. But Aaron Rodgers isn't going to let that happen. So he's getting Devontae Adams back either this week or at least next week.
Yep.
Um, and it's just not going to happen. I'm worried about that Green Bay defense, though.
Yeah, they definitely have holes. They give up big
Yeah,
plays.
they are not even what they were last year. So I don't know if they're going to be able to hang with like the Seahawks and everything like that in the playoffs, especially. But we'll see what happens.
If the Packers and the Seahawks play in the playoffs, it might be 61-59 final score
Yeah,
because that's how those defenses are playing right now. So,
yeah.
yeah, I think we're in agreement there. Let's go to NFC West. Um, who's your winner here?
Man, I am pleasantly surprised by your Rams. Pleasantly
Thank you.
surprised.
Thank you.
They've been playing well, and I think eventually Sean McVay will open up that passing game a little bit. I know it's been all running game, ground and pound right now, but I think that's going to eventually lead to those wide receivers picking up and the passing game opening up. But I mean, man, the Seahawks. I think Pete Carroll will get that defense at least respectable. Like obviously, right now they're a dumpster fire, but he'll get them respectable just like they always do. They'll figure it out. Jamal Adams has been out now for several weeks,
Mm-hmm.
so he'll come back and at least help out with that. But I believe in Russ. So and now he's got that tandem at wide receiver with Chris Carson. That's a recipe for success.
DK Metcalf is going to be one of the greatest receivers of all time, I think. And I did not expect this. I don't think anyone really did, but the dude is,
He's Julio. He's Julio.
yeah, Julio mixed with Megatron, mixed with whoever else. It's fun to watch him play, even as a Rams fan. But yeah, I got to roll with Seahawks here. I think that the Rams can beat them once. I really
For sure.
do, just because they don't do well against a good D line. They never have, and if that offense can get, we saw what they did. The offense, they were kind of slowed down by Minnesota's defense, which is not a good defense. Minnesota should have won that game. We talked about that, but anyway, um,
Fewer possessions. The Rams are going to be great at keeping them to fewer possessions.
yep.
So they're going to run that ball. The Seahawks are going to get less opportunities. They'll probably pull out one win at least.
Yeah, I think, and the Rams will slip up against some booty teams. They're just going to. Jared Goff's going to have a bad game, turn the ball over a couple times, and we're going to lose a couple that we shouldn't. But the 49ers, man, obviously they were the nosebleed crew. I think we all had them number one in our power rankings before the season. A lot of people probably did.
Yep.
They were a team that we felt got better over the offseason and went to the Super Bowl. So, granted, Richard Sherman's out, Nick Bosa's out. They've had some injuries, but they're 2-3. Do you think they can get it together?
I mean, too many injuries on defense. Like you've lost too many people, and then you're talking Garoppolo coming back. I don't know if they used bench because he was still injured or what was going on with that. I mean, we'll
He
see.
said they
But
wanted to protect him, but
yeah, but I mean, you still have Debo coming back, so I mean, we'll see about that. And Kittle's just now coming back from an injury, so I mean, they do have pieces coming back that could help them, but too many injuries, and they're in too much of a hole now already. You're
yeah,
definitely not going to win the division. Maybe sneak into a wild card. We'll see.
yeah, definitely possible.
Hey, you know who the Chiefs picked in the second round before DK Metcalf? McCole Hardman.
Ah, well, I
So
mean,
I'll just go shoot myself in the head.
it's just hard when you look back at drafts. It's always hard, especially with wide receivers. There's been so many busts at receiver, and not saying that either one. Obviously, DK is not a bust. McCole isn't a bust in my opinion either. He adds a layer to that offense. You don't think so?
I am almost out on McCole Hardman.
Really? Is
Like
he just like
this
a
was his
kick returner
year.
now? And that's it?
This was his year to develop the route tree to try and become like a receiver who's not just a gadget player. He's like 1 year away from being DeAnthony Thomas.
Oof. Yeah, I mean, because last year he showed some, potential at least. Everybody was like, "Oh, it's another Tyreek Hill," um, but now that I think about it, it's usually he'll get like some jet sweep plays or something like that. But it's usually a old dude who dropped a couple touchdowns. What's his name? Denard Robinson, number 11.
DeMarcus, yeah.
Demarcus, yeah, whatever. Yeah,
Butterfingers himself.
he gets more looks. It seems like. I wish Gibby was here to verify this, but I don't know. But
He
that
does,
offense
but good.
still, yeah, offense is still explosive. Tyreek Hill is the biggest X factor in the NFL, in my opinion. So, uh, yeah. All right, let's go to the NFC South. Um, there's a three-way tie right now: Bucs, Panthers, Saints. I think if the playoffs were to start today, the Saints have it, but who cares? Who do you like in this division?
I gotta go Buccaneers. The defense is what is gonna do it. Their defense is stout. They're about to get Godwin back. Their offense has not been at full speed the entire season so far. So, and even without him, I mean, Tom Brady threw for 4 touchdowns last week or the week before.
Yeah,
So, I mean, they'll figure it out. But the defense is what's going to be is what's going to carry them. And plus, man, I would love a Tampa Bay Chiefs Super Bowl. Love it.
yeah, that would be
Please
interesting
give
for sure.
Patrick Mahomes one more shot at beating Tom Brady in a game that matters.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they make it right now at this point. They have a long way to go. I do like them to win that division this year, just because the Saints. I'm just out on. I've been out on them. They shouldn't have won the other day against the Chargers, but here we are. They got the lead in a tiebreaker, and the Panthers. Obviously, no one expected them to win anything this year. They're 3-2 though. I'm excited to watch this game. I talked about it with Tyler yesterday, but I'm excited to watch the game this weekend with the Panthers.
And I like the Panthers. Matt Rule is doing what's working over there because they look exciting. They're fun to watch. Just please give DJ Moore some more looks.
I know, right? I got him in one of my teams.
Mad.
Yeah. All right, so we'll move to is that all of them? NFC, yeah, that's all of them. So we'll see how those pan out going forward with the season.
Record
So what's that?
On the record now.
Yep. All right. So we talked about fantasy a little bit and how you're our back-to-back champion for some just salty every time. But I was wondering if you have any tips or strategies that you like to follow or that you always go by. Eh, you know, so share with the people
Hey,
what you
well, I
do
think we
going into the draft and like what it is you do through the season. I'm not going to copycat it, I promise.
oh, hey, you're always right there. I am convinced that fantasy football is 50% skill and 50% luck. You can go in with all of the knowledge, all of the preparation, all of the draft, you know, preparation that you want, but you never know when somebody's going to break a freaking leg. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
it is totally 50% a crapshoot, but obviously you can prepare somewhat. I think you stick with pretty much the similar strategy that I do, where I always go back end quarterbacks. I know you switched it up this year, but
Paying for it.
there there's so much value to be had in the back end quarterbacks. Um, I went Stafford this year just because I actually thought that he had a chance to be a top five guy with the offense. It hasn't panned out, but that's what I'm saying though, because you still have an opportunity to be able to stream these other quarterbacks who are gonna have good days.
Justin Herbert.
Fitzpatrick, Herbert. You got Minshew now. You got Bridgewater. All these guys who are going to put up respectable numbers. Yeah, they're probably not going to give you the 40-point weeks that Lamar Jackson's going to give you.
Haven't got one of those yet.
Two
So
or three times a year he'll give you a 40-point game. But there's just so much more value to be had, and spending like a second, third round pick on that. Sometimes it works out. Your team's doing well this year so far, but you just never know. But and then the second thing would just be stay fluid with your team during the year. How many times have you seen like a number one seed just dominate the entire year and go out first round in the
oh
playoffs?
yeah, always.
Happens every year. I don't think I've ever seen a number one seed win a tournament, win a fantasy football league. So stay fluid with your team, because the teams shift, like team seasons change throughout the year, and you could start out 5-0 and then crap out at the end. So you got to pay attention. I don't really play matchups a ton, like a little bit here and there, but just stay fluid with your team, and always be willing to trade. Like for the right price, anybody is available.
Right.
So
Oh yeah, for sure.
never veto a trade.
I'm pretty stingy when it comes to trades because it's a pride thing. Like you said, you talked about luck 50-50. I'd go a step further and say 75-25, 75% luck.
Yeah.
Because if you're playing, especially if you're playing with a group of guys who've been playing and they understand at least halfway, they're going to pick decent players. So it's going to be like good players versus good players. Therefore, it takes luck. It takes somebody breaking out and having a big game. It takes you starting the right guy at the right time against the right opponent, and an injury here or there to fill in and plug holes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I would say too, draft for depth for sure, because wide receivers
Absolutely.
and running backs are super valuable and they're going to be the bread and butter of your team. Tight ends are very much so becoming more relevant. I have learned that the hard way the past few years. So if you can get one of those top end tight ends, definitely, I'm not gonna say jump for them, but if they're there when you feel good with your first or second round pick, why not? So because these tight
So
ends
many
are getting them 20 to 25 points a game.
so many more opportunities to hit on a late round wide receiver and running back than there are on a tight end. So
For sure, especially wide receiver. Wide receiver is the deepest position in football. So,
absolutely.
I mean, each week you'll see a guy on your waiver wire right now who's going to go for 20 points and then, you know, 0 next week. So, but yeah, I saw you got a Chase Claypool. So, how do you feel about that pickup? It's got to feel a little bit good, at least after seeing him on your bench go for 4 touchdowns last week.
Yes, thrilled about that after I lost two. But no, I just picked him up off a whim because I had Noah Fant out for the week, so I put him on my IR and just picked up a random player, and got lucky again. 75% luck, 75% luck.
Yep.
You just never know. But I mean, as long as Deontay Johnson's, he's supposed to be out this next week, so we'll see how he does. But you never know.
Yeah,
The
they
Steelers,
like him too. They like him a lot in Pittsburgh. From
the Steelers are just so good at drafting wide receivers.
yep.
It's
So
not fair for the rest of us.
yep. All right, so let's move to your Chiefs a little bit. So obviously they've had a little bit of a, not a perfect 5-0 start, 4-0 start, 4-1. They went to overtime against the Chargers, the rookie-led Chargers at that, who didn't expect to play until 10 minutes before the game. And then they take an L to the Raiders. What are you most worried about with the Chiefs going forward this year? Like, obviously, they're going to make the playoffs. They might have a couple hiccups. They won a Super Bowl. They have afforded that. Like, they can afford to lose a few games. They're going to be fine as long as they make the playoffs. Only one team gets the bye in the AFC and the NFC this year, so I think they can kind of like. Obviously, you want that bye, but since there's only one, you kind of have to set your mind for. All right, we're not going to get the bye because you have the Steelers, you have the Ravens, you have the Patriots on the other side, the Bills, everybody on that side of the who could also get that spot. What are your worries going into the playoffs in any capacity? O-line, linebackers, other teams, coaches, anything?
Well, you just hit the first two is offensive line and linebackers. The secondary, our cornerbacks right now are beat up. We've had some suspensions that we're just not coming back from. So, but Brett Veach, our GM, has proven now that we do not need good cornerbacks to win games. Don't get it. Keep clamoring for a first round, second round cornerback, but he does not care. So we're just rolling with Charvarius Ward with one hand and Rashad Breeland until he gets another DUI. But man, that O line, especially after losing our left guard, man, it is going to be.
Is that the doctor in Canada?
Well, him first, he opted out, but then Osemele.
Oh yeah, Gibby was ready to buy a Osemele jersey.
Oh, he was playing amazing. When we were running to the left, that was where we were getting all of our success. He was a great run blocker. But he tore like both tendons in both knees or some crap like that. Like literally both knees.
Done for the year or
on the same play, probably done for the year. So we've got this, we've got this patchwork offensive line now, and Mitch Schwartz is just he's been one of the most dominant right tackles in the league for years now. And he is just obviously starting to show his age. And then Eric Fisher is just a wild card on the left side. So
he's catching touchdown passes though.
He's not blocking for pass rushes or for running. So I'm glad he's good for something. But no, we'll see, man. Like and it's been well documented that Mahomes is not helping him either. He's just taking these 10 step drops, that going right into pressure, letting these pass rushers go right by the offensive linemen and stuff. So he needs to get better at that. So, and he will, but that offensive line is by far my worst worry because, if Clyde would have a lot of room to run if the offensive line was doing their job, but those linebackers are rough too. So, I mean, we can win because we won last year with terrible linebackers. So I would say the offensive line is my biggest concern.
So Clyde would have more room to run if the doctor in Canada isn't up there saving lives, you're saying?
I know. What a freaking jerk. You man, like a lot of respect for that guy, but dang, like, can you come back? No, but offensive line for sure. Number one concern. Okay. We'll put up points, and the defense will figure it out. We're still like the middle of the pack defense. And our secondary is actually playing really well. And once we get 22 back, I'm trying to remember his name right now, but our other safety, they'll solidify that back end, and we won't let the Raiders put up 38 on us again. So
yeah, you don't want to get torched by Derek Carr. It's a bad day.
Hey, the Raiders, they got a squad. I mean, that playing against us was kind of their Super Bowl. So I don't blame us too much for losing to the Raiders especially after that stretch that we had. But beating the Ravens and having the inside seat towards to the first round bye and then losing to the Raiders is a heartbreaker. So
hey, beat the hell out of the Ravens too. Didn't just beat handled the Ravens.
I think they thought that was the only game in the first 5 games of the season. I think that was the one that they were worried about.
Circle that one right there. So are you worried at any level of a man named William Belichick at all? Like going into the playoffs? You broke up. Are you worried in any capacity of a man named William Belichick?
Man. I mean, after what he did to us with Hoyer, absolutely I am.
I mean, you might see him in the playoffs. So I'm planting this seed now. That's definitely something. Gibby's talked about it, but I would be a little scared. You got to beat him to get to the Super Bowl. So,
I mean, and what's the formula to beat the Chiefs? limit their possessions, run the ball. Cam Newton is
Yep.
the perfect weapon to do that. So I am absolutely worried. When I found out he wasn't playing for them when we played them, that's a sigh of relief, because I could have absolutely seen us lose that game. We should have lost that game anyway. So, I mean, I'm absolutely worried. The AFC looks a lot better this year than they did last year. A
Yeah,
lot
for
more
sure.
contenders. Some of these teams who, the Steelers, who were just an offense away. They already had the defense. They just needed the offense, and now they have that. So you're talking, 5 or 6 contenders now in the AFC who are all going to be tough to get past.
For sure. A lot of good defenses too. Um, so how do you picture Chiefs 5 years from now with that Patrick Mahomes contract? Do you think it's like they have to win now over the next year or two to get another Super Bowl ring, or do you think they'll be just all right, in the future when he starts
Right.
getting paid?
Oh yeah, it's going to be interesting. I mean, if we want to capitalize on this window we're on right now, we absolutely need another one in the next 2 years. The NFL is tough, so all these people are predicting Mahomes to beat Brady in Super Bowls. Like, shut up! Like, please don't put that evil on us. Like, I mean, the NFL is just too good. Week in, week out, you never know what's going to happen. So, they crowned Aaron Rodgers the greatest of all time when he won his one Super Bowl, and he hasn't won since.
Yeah,
So, like, I don't. Please stop saying that. But we got a shot. Mahomes is that good. He is going to be able to win games just by himself. We are going to lose weapons. We are not going to be able to keep all the weapons that we have right now, especially when, like you said, when Mahomes starts getting paid. It's going to come through the draft. We're going to have these guys on rookie contracts. Brett Veach is going to have to be the one to make this happen, because obviously, we're going to lose. We just signed Kelsey to 3 or 4 years.
mm-hmm.
Chris Jones to 4 years. So at
Mm-hmm.
that point, 4 years from now,
Yep.
we'll see. We'll
Yeah.
see, because he is going to get paid, and it might get a little fishy there for a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, and the cap's going to go up. Obviously, we've seen it happen. So hopefully, his contract isn't. Oh shit,
Yeah.
his contract doesn't seem like so astronomical 3 to 5 years from now. So uh, it's
It's
just
out.
hard. We've never seen a 10-year contract in football like this. So it's
It's a
it's
and as much as a $500 million contract can be team friendly, it is team friendly.
oh
Like,
yeah,
they
yep.
are
I
going
think
to
Gibby
be
did a
able to.
whole segment on how it works, and
Yep.
he's excited about it, and I would be too.
They're
You got certain quarterbacks in the NFL signing these big ass contracts, and they shit the bed, and they have to restructure their deal, like a guy over in LA, Jared Goff. So, um, hopefully it works out for you guys, though.
Yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see.
All right, so you mentioned the Bucs a little bit. You kind of mentioned before the show that one of your games of the week, or a game you're excited to see, is the Bucs versus the Packers.
Yep.
So, how do you see this game playing out at all? Obviously, the Green Bay Packers have looked electric so far this year, and Tampa Bay is probably really looking for a win after suffering a loss against Chicago the way they did. They get 10 days off. How do you see this one playing out?
We'll see, man. I don't know. Aaron Rodgers has obviously looked good. They are supposed to get. I know we mentioned before, they are supposed to get Devontae Adams back. He's got the weapons to get it done. I like the Bucs. Tom Brady.
Really?
I like the Bucs. That the defense for the Bucs is going to be able to limit Devontae Adams enough. I'm sure Aaron Jones will get his, but they're going to be able to limit our offense enough. And when's Godwin coming back? Is he coming back this week? I
Shit,
can't
I
remember.
don't know.
I don't know
I don't
either.
know.
But Tom Brady knows how to win these big games more than anything else. He notoriously loses a couple to the Dolphins here and there, but he always knows when to win these games. Except for that last year when he lost to the Dolphins to get the bye, but
Oh, yep.
which gave the Chiefs the bye. But other than that, like, I was so surprised by that game, because Tom Brady knows how to win these games.
So you a
And
big
so
believer in Tom this year, or what? Because my other two counterparts are not so sold on him. Gibby and Chiefs, that is. I have picked them to win the division and
yeah,
make somewhat of a run. What are your thoughts on Tom?
I'm a believer. You don't. I'm not going to bet against him. Just like I won't bet against Belichick until he shows me otherwise. I am not going to bet against Tom Brady. He knows how to get it done when it needs to get done.
I think
So
that's
they'll
coming
figure
from
out.
someone who's lost multiple bets against Tom Brady.
Oh man. Oh, I don't know how many pictures I've had to take in Patriots jerseys and on Facebook, but man, he has been the thorn in our side. So I believe in Tom Brady, and they will get that rushing game figured out. Whether it's Fournette or Ronald Jones, they'll get it figured out. And he just has weapons, like Gronk, whatever. But Cameron Brate, sleeper in fantasy.
He is, and obviously OJ Howard's I think just done right now. He's
Done for the year.
but they've slowly started integrating Gronk a little bit more. It seems so. It'd be interesting to see how he matches up with those linebackers in Green Bay this week. Man, I got to go with the Packers on this one, though. I think they're
Okay, let's go.
damn good, man. Packers right now are my Super Bowl. I'm all in. Green Bay, cheesehead, let's go. Get me one. I am all in on the Packers from what I've seen so far. I haven't seen – Aaron Rodgers is just owning the fact that there are no fans in the stands. He – Mr. Hard Count himself. He is just playing with these defensive lines. He's doing it. He is – it's incredible to watch, really. So I think he does that again. I don't know when they lose. I don't know. So I like the Packers a lot. I think the defense is good enough to win, but I would like to see the Bucs win just because I have picked them to win a lot of games this year in previous episodes. So
I think I remember that.
yeah, so not looking good right now. They can't lose another game according to my prediction, we'll not talk about that though. Yeah. All right, so we'll end it on one last topic. So you live in Nashville. What's the feel with the Titans? I don't know if obviously COVID, there's not a lot like stuff to do and get around, but do people because the Titans have kind of sucked for the past before last year. They've just not been real good. And that AFC South is not one that gets a lot of attention and love. What are your thoughts on the Titans? How's the city feel about Tennessee? What are they? What's the feeling down there like?
So, oh man, so I'll tell you what, Nashville sports fans are the worst sports fans in the world, and not in a good way. They are not annoying enough. They are not like passionate enough to be annoying. They're not like Eagles fans in a bad way. They're just fair weather in a bad way. Like I grew up in Nashville for a good portion of my like middle school and high school years. I remember reading in the paper about Steve McNair and back in the day back in the glory days.
Yep. Lost
Man,
the Super Bowl.
yeah. But man, it's the Predators. They'll always be Predators fans because the Predators were the first team to get good around here. And then the Titans, man, they are so fair weather. It's bad. I actually had a few buddies actually fly up to a few Titans fans fly up to Arrowhead for the AFC Championship. I live with a bunch of Titans fans now, so I hear it all the time. But man, that was sweet winning that game. But
I bet Gibby was there.
I know. Yeah. But it was they're the worst fans. Like nobody in Nashville cares about sports.
Really?
So they'll be fans until they're bad again, and then it'll all blow over.
All right. Well, that's our perspective from Nashville on the Tennessee Titans, who are 4-0. Like, relax, guys. Your team's doing good. You would think they at least kind of like went in waves like they do in Arizona. They like.
They're big right now. They're loving it right now.
Yeah.
As soon as it goes down again,
as soon as they lose one game, they're just like, all right, let's listen to some country music and whatever else they do down there. Eat some hot wings.
Straw.
Yep. Well, Caleb, do you have any questions for me at all or anything like that?
Hey, I'm good, man. Thanks for letting me come on again. Had a blast. Love listening to the show. Everybody subscribe. It's dope.
Hey, thanks, man. Big fan of the show. Caleb, probably one of our biggest listeners, if not the biggest listener of the show. So I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Come on anytime you want. And we'll get you on here whenever you're free again. So thanks for coming on, man.